My name is Teresa Lockwood. I reside in Vineland, New Jersey. I'm actually going to do and talk more details on, well, my unholy fatness, if you will. The thing is that I was basically attacked with passive aggressive little nasty little comments calling me obese from their pulpit. Yes, an ungodly abusive woman who basically slanders God, Christianity, and basically, well, in a perverse way, entertains a monster who committed hate crimes against me. Just want to let you know this false minister, Lois Satterfield, of the Vineland Ramoth Church, now calling themselves Vineland Ramoth Church. First of all, they committed hate crimes against me and my children, destroying my children. Why do they attack my children? Well, to cause me agony, pain and agony and suffering. Hold on a second. I got something in my eye. I don't know why. I just washed my face. Anyway, so what she doesn't understand is that she is actually being exploited by the false so-called minister. Hold on. Oh, I have something in my eye. I should start this video over. I don't believe this is happening. Anyway, so just want to let you know that this woman is actually being used like another false minister. Who is my abuser, by the way. She's being promoted as this counselor or whatever. Because she basically slandered me. They committed perjury against me in a court to have me jailed for the hate crimes they were committing against me. Now the wheat is used because she's a pathological liar. Okay? She's superficial and her mind is very debased. Okay? The thing is she's not a counselor. Nelda Wheat is not a counselor. She is a cult abuser. She basically nastily said to me, I don't care what happened to your children, because I spoke against William Clay using people, and even her, against me, to sit there and harass me and bully me. She basically, and what them and the Vineland, New Jersey Police Department did to my children, and basically them covering up the kidnapping and abuse of my children. She said, I don't care what happens to your children. This is what she said. When she was questioned in court, by the way, she slandered me, committed perjury against me, and denied saying that. And she did say that. So the thing is that this nasty, foul thing, had a pop-up, sorry. This nasty, foul thing who thinks I should be in jail because, why? I'm a true minister of God. That's why, for one thing. Second of all, the false minister, Lois Satterfield, is being used because, well, first of all, they have to actually find some degenerate to basically, babysit these children that they're mind raping, by the way. Misleading and lying to and deceiving. So, just want to let you know, she is being flaunted and presented before the people because the false minister William Clay committed hate crimes against women in the church. He took over or whatever and bullied out the women ministers that were there. Okay? The thing is, they were there, but I was actually being discriminated against for speaking the knowledge of God. And basically, sharing with the knowledge that I know. They made up lies that I got it from wherever I came from, and I need to go back to where I came from. And calling me a foreigner, by the way. So, and claiming that if I don't speak the language, I need to leave. So it was done all passively, aggressively by an abusive minister. Lee King, by the way. So the thing is, he was very abusive. He is my abuser. He's in hell now. The thing is, they basically bullied any somewhat decent. Now, they weren't true ministers. I shouldn't even say decent, especially when it comes to false minister Dawn Reed or whatever, because she wound up bullying me, making passive aggressive attacks because I basically was talking to her about like this thing about skateboarding for Christ. Now I know that you can't skateboard for Christ. Okay? I know Christ. I actually had to correct all of them, actually. Enlightening them about Christ, as they are all false ministers. Now, I didn't have, like, the thought of, like, well, they're false ministers. It didn't even cross my head. People had views. I shared my view, and, well, actually, they didn't have views. They had their false opinions. But the thing is, they had a lot of false teachings. I grew up surrounded by false teachings. You know, and I actually did a lot of work and writings and videos in the past in regards to exposing the false teachings that I was surrounded by. So, I mean, they never taught anything true. They could not understand or comprehend what was in the Bible. The thing is they didn't either. And when I kindly tried to share with them what it says, opening their eyes, they just wanted to keep their eyes shut. And they just started slandering me and attacking me. So, I mean, I was actually trying to have a decent conversation, nice conversation, and, you know, and I was talking about my son skateboarding, and they had a thing called skateboarding for Christ. Like I said, you can't skateboard for Christ. There's no such thing. There's nothing wrong with skateboarding or whatever. But they tried to actually just trash me. And then the false minister, Dawn Reed, said, you know, oh, well, skateboarding is gothic. This is a woman who basically, we were emailing each other, and she was actually claiming, you know, that, you know, presenting like she's like a friend of mine or whatever, and she just started nastily abusing me. And the thing is, I always showed her kindness, and I don't think the same that I thought then, and I'm not going to apologize for how I think now, my response, but then it was more like, you know, like, why are you doing this, you know, and I, you know, just, you know, cared about people. I'm not saying that me going off on people, okay, and basically rebuking with a harsh rebuke is, any less than kindness or caring, okay? That is something that comes when it's just like, you can't even accept kindness to me or whatever, and you're going to sit there and just slander me and do these things or whatever. It's really, really terrible. And the thing is, the reality is I don't really believe that they were like, you know, like excommunicated out of this church because they were false ministers. The reality is, Lee King was false minister. San Piero, who was mentally abusing me and slandering me, was a false minister. You know, and then it was just like I was being abused by William Clay, which was actually very unusual. I actually wanted to mainly observe things that they were doing or whatever, and share with them Christ. But apparently they were unrelenting in their abominations and their crimes and all these things they're committing against me. The only reason that William Clay is presenting this false minister that is actually not only a disgrace to women, but a disgrace to God. The only reason they're presenting her as a minister is because they were committing and continuously committing hate crimes against me for over 20 years in the Vineland Ramoth Church. Now, and also, I did not accept John Wesley, but they kept inviting me back. Then when I spoke against that, they made up lies or something and trying to make claims, oh, people going, you know, trying to get people to go after you. I didn't do any such thing. And that didn't happen, but they make up a lie for everything that I say to try to bury me. They basically, they act like freaking pedophiles trying to cover up their crimes. So it's really, really disgusting. And I didn't witness any of that in the church, by the way. And so I'm going to go on. I was going to sit there and talk about, the slanderous lie of being a so-called busybody to actually stigmatize women. Oh, yes, it's in the Bible. It's in a stealth letter. And no, it's not a rule of God or a law of God. basically, because, well, I was asking questions and wondering why they were, well, harassing and abusing me. They said it was none of my business why they're abusing me. This is how warped their minds are and how debased they are. So the thing is that I was basically condemned as being curious and things like that, and like, you know, asking questions and all these things. And when I was asking questions, Lee King, the false minister, basically said, "Oh, don't question God." This is what they did. So, now, I question, well, first of all, you can question God's ministers. They weren't God's ministers. You can question if you don't have you can question anybody. I don't mind being questioned or whatever, but there's, I can't get into all that because I can't take up too much time, but, I can go into details about anything. Now, anybody wants to ask questions that I do not go into full detail about because I don't have the time on my phone. Yes, I'm still trying to get my system hooked up, and I can't. So anyway, yeah, that's a problem. It's like they don't ask questions, and if the thing is, just about every time they actually asked me a question, it was not even to care to actually concern themselves what I think about that, like I did it with them. And kindness. And the thing is that their questions to me was like a passive aggressive, like false accusation they did in question form. I will not practice this whatsoever. So if anybody's like questioning, like, you know, motive behind my questions, because I basically discovery, like, I want to know what you think about that or emphasize on that, and that's a whole another thing. They made up a lie because I asked in the class, I asked Lee King to emphasize on something because it was not clear. It was very broad in an expression or whatever. They made up a lie to sit there and like, well, if you ask me to, I don't know, emphasize on something or whatever. They just made up a lie about it. I had no ill intentions for anybody in there. I treat them with kindness, and my kindness is always genuine. And even if I am harsh and I go off on you, that's in kindness. So you can have your superficial plastic fruit so-called kindness, but it is not kindness. Their false kindness is all like flattery, superficial, fake. It's deception. And I will not even deceive my enemies. I will not do that. I do not manipulate, deceive, lie, or whatever. I am who I am, and I present it. And if anybody wants to know anything, ask. Do not make up things about me, because then you're basically an abomination against God. And it's just like, okay, well, these people don't care. They pretend to believe in God, but they don't really believe in God. So why would they care? It's about your own self-dignity and who you are to other people, and that stands in connection with who you are to other people. They like to rant off about relationship all the time, and their relationship is unholy, ungodly, and is all manipulative and flattery, and, you know, and they say the most messed up things. And if you go off on them, even if you cuss them out or something like that, they'll tell you're not of God. Yeah, Jesus cussed people like you out, calling you swine, brood of vipers, hypocrites, liars, whatever the case may be. So the thing is, you cannot find that in me whatsoever. So anyway, I'm going to move on from that. I just thought that, I mean, things to think about for people who aren't against me and people who are. Like, it's all about you. So, yeah, they have rules, by the way. So I can't talk about myself. They have all these rules where I can't say anything or mention anything about myself. And it's mostly in relation to all society environment like that is around me. So the thing is that I also can't, they have all the rules why I can't sit there and talk about anything else, that anything that's happening in the environment. Oh, they can, but I can't. This is what they do. Why? Because they're deceptive liars, and the light exposes what is hidden in darkness. And this is why they are persecuting me. Now, anyway, so back to false pastor Lois Satterfield. First of all, she is being used, manipulated, and lied to herself, even though she's a liar herself. Okay, you know what I mean. So, and she's being used as a woman because William Clay and the Vineland Nazarene Church, and the false minister Lee King, and all these other people, they committed hate crimes against me for being a woman. Now, how is that when they accept women in this? This is what they do, and you can see it all over. If you actually want to know, like, question, like, how does people like Paula White get into these high places and positions and be called a minister, even though it is obvious that many things that she says is delusional and against God and against Christ? Why? Because the false ministers use women who are against women ministers. Okay? And no, it's not spoken against in our Bible. Okay, they isolate and twist verses, and I've actually been arguing these, and basically broadening the spans outside their isolated single verse that they twist, and basically they take it out of context, where a lot of verses, like all around that verse, basically interpret that single verse into completely opposite to what they are saying. They really wish they serve the devil. They really wish that God basically just destroys women, suppresses women, and refuses women to speak. This is not the case. Our Bible only teaches that it is basically against men and women that are people like you who cannot interpret the Bible. I am the only one I have known, encountered, or basically anybody I have basically encountered online that is a true minister of God. Yes, anybody can say that. And no, you're not to accept that I'm a minister of God, I'm a theologian, or whatever, because I say so. And this is the problem with many of these churches. They will sit there, and if it basically appeases their sin or whatever, they'll sit there and look for, like the other minister, false minister that is persecuting me, Frank Appolito, Calvary Chapel, Anthony Appolito. They'll sit there and search out abusive false theologians, calling themselves theologian that are not, to justify their sin. See, they were drawn to and attracted to the evils that were being preached that basically destroys any witness and victims that would actually expose their evil. Okay? So anyway, back to Lois Satterfield. She is actually being used to actually just disgrace God and disgrace women and lie, and basically being attacking towards a minister of God, which would be me. And I'm not even talking about like her slanderously calling me an obese. This is the thing. I'm going to bring that up. First of all, the abusers that I was bullied by and slandered in the Vineland Nazarene Church, false minister Lee King was probably about 400, 500 pounds. I'm going to say around 400. Okay? Now, they were praised. They were praised as being abusive and teaching them false, evil doctrines that are unbiblical. He did not know what was in our Bible. Now, the thing is, you do not have to know what was in the Bible. But the thing is, if you speak a lie, and if you speak evil and teach all these false traditional teachings, that is against God, that is against righteousness, you're just evil. So they deliberately twisted scripture. They do a lot of scapegoating, flipping things backwards. They stole a lot of knowledge I shared with them. So I'm going to go on. So the thing is, now there's obese people in their church. Now, because they were honing in and trying to desperately silence me because I am the minister of God. Why? Because the minister of God speaks the truth. That's what identifies the minister of God. The thing is, the false ministers in there, Nelda Wee and Lois, they are basically slandering me, knowing that these preachers are teaching abusive, evil, false teachings, and knowing that they are against God, especially Nelda Wee, and basically doing everything desperately to make sure I am not heard and that I'm not allowed to correct the false ministers. So she actually was basically persecuting me, false minister Nelda Wee, persecuting me and abusing me, slandered me, committed perjury against me in court to bury me because I am a minister of God. So the thing is that she still attacks God, even condemns God's promises, and makes a nasty little comment, falsely claiming, and well, it would be from her lack of view, making claims to attack God's word. As false minister Nelda Wheat said, the covenant of God is so exhausting. And that would be the laws of God, by the way. There's nothing wrong or exhausting about loving, practicing the love of God. They claim love, but they're not of love. So the thing is that they're claiming I'm not out of love, by the way, for basically teaching them the truth by the authority of God. So, and speaking against their, heinous crimes. Like I said, Nelda Wheat is used as a false minister because why she slanders God and she bullies Christians. That's what they do. That's what a majority of these churches do, by the way. So, and they do it in their teachings. What they are, they're just like programmed with propaganda, with false teachings that basically attacks Christianity as they falsely claim to be Christianity. Some are deceived and are just echoers. Like they're undiscerning and they echo or whatever, and they basically approve them and basically convince and create these false ministers. Okay, so I really believe that there's a lot of people who do not intend to do evil. I'm just going to say a lot. One in comparison out of 100% is very, very low. But there are people out there that I do believe that they don't intend to do evil to people. And they're just echoing these words and they really believe that they're doing good. But the thing is, the people in the Vineland Nazarene Church who's persecuted me, committing hate crimes and abused me for about 20 years, they have, I'm just checking my time, they're willfully doing evil, okay, deceiving and lying and doing all these things, okay, mocking their victims, mocking me, mocking God and Jesus and claiming and pretending they're believing in God and Jesus or whatever. So, excuse me, I got an itch. So, the thing is that, yeah, so Lois Satterfield, and the ungodly false women in the Vineland Nazarene Ramoth Church of William Clay, not of God, they are used because the reality is I have been attacked and hate crimes have been attacked against me. Did I say that right? Attacked against me by them. Because I'm a minister of God. And plus I am a woman. Mainly because I am a woman. So the bullying and abuse that I got for being a woman committing hate crimes against me by Lee King San Piero was, mainly around because, I have the truth, and next, because I'm a woman. It's easier to abuse and attack a woman, such as myself, because women are less respected. And these churches create, by the way, domestic violence abusers. That's all they do is create domestic violence abusers, who basically refuse women's rights. Like I said, they approve of women who keep their mouths shut and who will echo them. And who will echo them and won't question them and claim that they're authority and yield to their false doctrines. So, and will defend them. So they know that these women, false ministers, are false. They know that they're lying. They know that they're false. They know that they don't believe in God. So, like I said, there are some people who actually really believe that they may be serving and worshiping the one true God, and they're not. And they're convinced they are. And they basically make how do I say this? I'm going to move on. This is the thing. Actually, you know what? I wound up doing a lot more, in regards to reflecting false, ministers, especially women, These churches, even our police department, Cartman Police Department, have promoted like a woman who actually lying about me, lying to me, and promoted her because she basically is obstructs justice, has bullied and abused me, and slandered me, and refused to make a complaint. And they actually used her and promoted her to flaunt her around because they were committing hate crimes against me for being a woman. Who my intellect is anointed and blessed by God, by God's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because I am discerning, because I am an awakened Christian. That's why. So the thing is that yeah, so I'm actually going to talk more on the obesity. The thing is, it was only a single target. My thing is that they're not, you know, yeah, you know, talk about against the obesity of the false minister Lee King, or you're going to sit there and say you honor him because, well, he's dead. They're going to claim he's in heaven. He is not. He is in hell. He was a very, very evil man. They psychologically tortured me. I was actually seriously damaged due to the psychological torture and abuse by mainly Lee King. He is like, I mean, the devil's whatever. I can't even think of a word right now, but he was very, very evil. I tried to say, show him kindness, and they're playing on the words trying or whatever, and they're going around, that was B. William Clay, and it's in there, well, Jesus was trying to say was, what Paul was trying to say, and I'm not playing games with you. That would be William Clay. I'm not playing games. This is not a joke. When I said that before, and actually prior to that, I'm like, this is not a joke. This is like crucial between life and death or whatever in people's lives. And that's all they're doing is using people and exploiting people. And all they do is lie. But then they repeat my words. No, it's not a joke. Yeah, they're making it a joke out of basically suffering people and basically making a joke out of me and laughing because they basically abused me and traumatized me and destroyed my children. They attacked my children. And the thing is, you know, I'm going to end with this because it's 27 minutes. I mean, I do have up to 43 minutes on this. I try to clear everything I could out. But the thing is, I'm actually going to do another video on the attacks of obesity. Now, the thing is, I can sit there and I know, like, what? I'm obese. Okay. And I'm going to make it in regards to, like, they don't care that a 400-pound man was basically abusing me and bullying me. They're attacking me because I'm a woman, and they're using a degenerate, foul woman, a women, or a few of them, to actually attack me. So because they were honed in and trying to basically hurt me with something. I just want to do my video in regards to, my next video is going to be regards to, oh yes, my journey and my obesity. So, it's a thing. I was up to about 255 pounds, on average. And the thing is it has been like about 4 months, actually since I stopped eating sugar. I want to sit there and say, okay, I have 1 teaspoon of sugar in my tea. I do keep that a little bit. So, I'm still losing weight. But the thing is, I started and stopped eating candy. Yes, I had a candy thing. But the thing is, my experience with what I actually was able to eat, okay, and what I cried about for the last couple of years that I cannot eat like this, I'm going to talk about in my next video. And the reality is like, yeah, I ate candy like every day. And, so, and the thing is, I was not gluttonous. The thing is, Lee King, okay, was like a glutton, okay? He acted like a glutton. You do not have to be fat to be a glutton, by the way. But he was savage. He was completely savage. He basically, like, just was so, like, filthy and nasty. It was unbelievable. His mind rape was disgusting. So the thing is, he wouldn't accept truth. He wanted to be in rebellion against God, so, and claim he was God. And they're basically also slandering me, falsely accusing me of claiming I'm God for teaching knowledge. Oh, against their lies, by the way. And they claim their lies is of God is basically what they said. So I am going to do another part 2. I just want to let you know, I ate like 1 to 2 meals a day. And it consists of like mostly sandwiches most of the time. It is actually a sad story why that happened. And basically, yes, I got addicted to candy. And no, my candy, oh, okay, I had like probably 1 to 2 like candy bars a day. And then I ate like probably small little candies, like maybe the size of like Jolly Ranchers or root beer barrels, and I probably eat like throughout the day. So about 20 of those a day is what I did. So my consumption was not even actually, my consumption of food in quantity was not even, it was probably not even half of what the average person consumes that weighs like a regular amount of weight or whatever. And plus, I also had an addiction where I had 2 Pure Leaf iced teas a day, and I actually just realized like a month or 2 ago, that they had like about 47 grams of sugar in each of them. So I also realized, I actually just wrote a lovely letter to a person, like a nutritionist guy, whatever, who is educating people about nutrition and health or whatever. And so the thing is, I actually just learned, like, actually from them, that sugar actually destroys B1 in our body. And the thing is, like, I just cut out my sugar, though, about 4 months ago. I'm roughly estimating, could be in the 5 months, about 4 to 5 months ago. It was about a week after my last conversation, with actually Lieutenant Landy, the Vineland, New Jersey Police Department, as I was basically, I wasn't speaking aggressively in any way. I was just talking about my candy intake, and because I kind of did gloat about it or whatever, I actually increased my candy intake because of how people were treating me. Like flirting. I was actually sexually assaulted by a police officer, which I reported and was retaliated against and attacked for, which also they actually attacked the officer who witnessed and vouched for me. So the thing is that yeah, they grabbed my hoo-hoo, if you will. It was really, really terrible, and I actually pulled away from them, so that's like another story. We'll talk about it in more detail or whatever. I have talked about it in before or whatever, but, I mean, in any way, like, any man's not even allowed to touch me. Unfortunately, when these people had me falsely arrested, or if I was assaulted or threatened by police, and I did not do anything wrong, and, the thing is that I actually almost killed myself over it. Because, like I said, I am not to be profaned by the carnal. And I will sit there and have a conversation with the guy, as long as you're not encountering me